which we did buy. About to hopefully break ground on those this year. Got to go visit those again. Really excited about that. That was wakeboarding, water boats, all that fun stuff, and more events. Cool. Oh, and this was actually, it's probably one of my favorite pictures. That me and Jim, that was the day I closed on my first dream home here in Austin, Texas, and we're drinking some nice scotch and drinking a cigar. If you don't know, the gentleman on the left there, that's my twin brother. He does all the design for our company here, and huge part of what we're doing. And that was a big deal. That was a big contract. It was a big number, well into 7 figures for that home, and it was cool. And that was 2011, 2012 now. Man, the time flies. So that's who I am. The point of all of that is just so you get a feel for where I'm coming from. I am real. In fact, March 2005, I stumbled upon the profession, the MLM profession, and it was painful. If you can see those images on the right and left, that's what we were told to do. That's what the company told us to do. And it was bandit signs and, going to Kinko's and put these little things where you rip the 800 number. It was terrible. It was terrible. The first 3 years, while I am so grateful for, and it was actually a pretty cool time because my back was against the wall. I had no idea what I was doing, and I liked that. It was it was fun for me. $30,000 of debt was not fun, but it did help me grow into the person I am today, and for that I'm eternally grateful. About 2007 or 8, about 3 years after I got started in the profession, I found attraction marketing. It took me about 6 or 7 months to set up my first funnel because I am not technical. I hate the acronym HTML. Cold Fusion, Dreamweaver, all that stuff makes, just saying the words makes me, the hair on the back of my neck stand up. So if you're not techie, trust me, you're in good hands here with MLSP. Neither am I. That's why we built the system. And then once we flipped the switch, $10,000 first month in profit ever with attraction marketing. Fast forward about maybe 6 or 7 months, I want to say. I met Norbert and Todd down in Austin, Texas, and we sparked up a conversation. And very quickly thereafter, we launched the company called My Lead System Pro. And that was in the September 2008. Right around that time, my best month in the MLM space. Mine particularly was a direct sales, kind of a higher ticket offer thing in the network marketing arena. And my best month was right around 90K. So I am a rep. I don't have, obviously, I'm generic. I mean, what I do is My Lead System Pro now, but I was in the trenches. I know all about it. That's where I made my fortune. That's where my heart is. Marketing, network marketing. And I was in it. I don't just talk about it. I was in it doing the thing. My hat has changed since then. It's, because we are a generic network marketing, kind of a training portal that serves the network marketing industry. But that's where my background is. And what was interesting is that within those first 8 months inside of MLSP, we hit 7 figures. And what's even more interesting is that just a few years later, we're over $28 million in revenue. And that's just with MLSP. And I do believe that in the next year, we're going to at least double or one of our, we'll tell you later a little bit about the goals, but I easily double what we've done just last year with what we're about to roll out and what we have just rolled out in the last quarter here with MLSP. So the vision is still strong. It's huge. The numbers are big. The people we can help are big. And that's, am I someone that knows how to create and more importantly, go after and achieve goals? Those are some pretty big, if you go back and take a look at over the last 10 years, first, a big gap. It took about 6 months to figure that out. And then when I flipped the switch, it was my first $10,000 month in profit. Okay. That was actually one of my very first goals ever when I found the industry. It might be one of your goals right now, your very first 5. It was something about that 5-figure month, man. It's like that sexy, something like you think all your problems are going to go away, or you can provide all you want for your family, take the trips, you're going to have no worries. At 10K, at 5 figures a month, for me, that's what it was. And I hit that a little bit later than what I had originally planned. And then thereafter, about 7 months, took it to a 7-figure business. And then really within the year after that, it was a multi 7-figure business per year. And of course, now we are 2015 or 2016. We're going to probably, I think that we will cross, we're dancing with what I believe will be about a $40 million, in revenue total company easy next year is the big goal for me personally. So What happened? How did I do it? What's my secret? Let me show you something interesting before we dig into the how and the why, because here's how it happened, actually. I wrote this on March 24th, 2006. It's a check that I wrote out to myself. It's $1 million check that I wrote. If you can see the date, I've actually still got it in my wallet right now. If you want to see that, I may show you actually when I come back to the screen, because it's fun. It's still in my wallet, and I'll show you what this means and how this works and what happened here. March 24th, 2006, I wrote myself $1 million check saying that I could cash it March 24th, 2009. That's 3 years later. And then I wrote this. This is not even a month later. This was the actual goal. Okay? This is the actual goal. I will show you it as well. And I kept all of these, and I'm so glad I did. And I urge you to do what I'm going to teach you tonight. Do it and keep it, because in 5 years this isn't going to be inspiring. And you can be the leader and show this stuff, and it's going to move people and inspire people. You want to make an impact? Write this stuff down. As Jim Rohn said, any life worth living is a life worth recording, right? And hopefully you can read this. It says, it's not even that inspiring for me looking back. It was for me at the time, because what I wanted to do, I wanted results, man. I wanted money. Of course, I wanted to help people. In fact, the reason I got started in my business was that so maybe I could go and pay for my band, a round of beers, or get them dinner for the night and a round of beers. That was literally where my head was at in 2005. That's where my conscious was, my level of vibration. Okay. But a bit, I did want to make the money. It was definitely, I wanted good things, good wine ain't cheap. I wanted the nice houses, the cars, the flash, all that fun stuff. So for me, looking back, this this is cool. And it obviously did the trick, but it for me, it could have been more about serving others. That's what at least where I am now, 10 years later, I guess, as I've matured, and gotten to know a little bit more of me and what I want and what really triggers me. But that's it. This was the very first goal I ever wrote, at least a serious goal that I wrote down and took action with back in 2006. Okay. If you can't read that, it says, by March 24th, 2009, I'm a millionaire. I can cash the check I wrote to myself 3.5 years ago, which was the check I just showed you in the previous slide. I'm financially free. I own my own beautiful beach mansion. I've got the property there. I didn't build that yet, so that's not quite there done. I spend my days with my family and friends, and my kids will never see daycare. All of that will be true. Don't have kids yet, but my days are pretty cool, man. Pretty fun. Family and friends, and it's on my terms now. And I'm extremely happy, and life gets better every day. I realize now that I could have lived this life whenever I wanted. I just didn't make the decision to create it yet. People are irresistibly attracted to me. I can do and succeed at whatever I desire. I created this. This is my reality. Now, what's interesting, our first 8 months of MLSP, August 2008 to March 2009, to the exact date that I had envisioned, meditated on, and set my goal, literally down to the month. At literally the first 7 months of MLSP wound up to line up with the goal here, March 24th, 2009. That was when I wanted my first million. Now, what is interesting is those first 7 months add up to exactly $962,009.13. What the hell? Now, if you were to add my personal MLM and my affiliate products over the 3-year goal, I definitely had a 7-figure. That was on paper. I mean, that's a millionaire right there. Right. And out of integrity, I do want to say I didn't have 7 figures in my bank at this date, but I had a 7-figure business in addition to the network marketing company that I was building on top of the affiliate income streams. I was well over that 7-figure mark. And had it not been, literally to the month. Now, how in the hell? I had zero idea how I was going to do that when I wrote it down in 2006 as a broke musician. Literally had no freaking idea. My mentors, the guys I was learning with, the guys about mindset, and the successful people who I was surrounding myself with, said to stretch, said to think big, said to do a couple things we're going to get into tonight, and I did. And I had no idea how that was going to happen at all. But I'll tell you what I did with these things and the techniques and strategies that I used over the course of those 3 years to literally just manifest this out of thin air, not knowing about even attraction marketing when I wrote the goals, not even knowing Todd or Norbert or anyone in my circle currently today really that I do business with. I didn't know any of them or had any idea on how this was going to happen. Now I'm just going to come back and make sure you guys are good. And I'll show you guys. I mean, this was it, guys. This was the, I'm going to enable chat for a second, let y'all come back, make sure you guys are good. This is the actual first goal ever, guys. And we're going to get into a couple strategies and things that you can, things that I did and things that you can apply right now. And if you actually, I get so wary about taking this out because it will literally, if the wind breaks through my window or something, I feel like this thing will disappear. This is the actual check. The $1 million check that I wrote to myself back in 2006. So, I mean, this is real. And what I'm about to get into, whether you think it's new age fluff stuff, guys, I'm telling you, all I can tell you and teach you tonight is from experience. And that's all I'm going to do because this stuff worked. This is how I did it. And you as my circle, I mean, we've got like 1,000 people on right now. I'm just going to show you what I did and how I do it. And if something triggers a weird thing or feeling, okay, it just kind of let that feeling or thought go by and stay with me. Again, be present. And like I said in the beginning, just keep the ego at the door here this evening. And we're going to keep going, okay? You guys, yeah, I do need to laminate the check. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Very cool. Awesome. I'm going to undo the chat and we are going to go keep on rocking. So what really happened? What really happened? Okay. JP, are you there, man? Can you just make sure I'm on? I didn't mess anything up here. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's on screen. Whoop. Yeah, cool. All right. Cool. So what really happened? We're going to have to agree to 3 things here before moving forward. That at some level, you got to believe. I mean, it's 2016 now, and with all of the science and all the research in proving that thought can influence matter, that thoughts do become things, or at least have some level. Can we at least agree on, at some level, your thoughts help create your reality? Yes? Can we at least agree that all potentials do exist? I mean, 10 years ago, I was making $2,000 a month. Now, multi-7-figure business. I mean, I would believe and there's also research out there that states that everything, you know, if you have a thought, a dream, a desire, I actually don't believe that because you had that thought, I believe that you should, that there's only reason why you have one thought is that because why not? Like that you actually could achieve that. I personally do believe that. That's one of my beliefs. All potentials exist. In the quantum field, or whatever you want to call it, there's infinite potential out there, right? And I'm not going to get into all the amazing wonders of the world or things like that, but can we at least agree, maybe you don't believe that all potentials exist, but I just showed you a pretty drastic, with a kid with no experience, no one really teaching or showing him, just with pure passion and drive to go from flat broke, 30 grand in debt to the life I have now. That's a pretty big leap. So maybe not all potential happen. Okay. Number 3 is that everything is energy. What we want has a certain frequency, and if we can match our frequency with its frequency, that's where the danger happens. And by danger, I mean that's where some cool stuff starts lining up. And that has also been scientifically proven with, you know, crazy microscopes that will actually go in and look at the molecules and the atoms of physical matter and how much space there is between, like how everything is in. We'll just leave it at that. And I didn't make these up. These are physical laws, universal laws. And we must agree on all of these. Okay? Now, if we can agree with all of these, we can move forward. I'm just going to go back and hit, can we at least, you guys all with me there? Can you at least buy into that for this presentation? Do you believe in all three of those? Or at least to some level, something there in terms of thoughts becoming things at all? Awesome. Right on, right on. Very cool. Cool. All right, let's get right into it. Cool. So, here's my secret. And here it is. I don't know, this may sound simple for you, but this is what I did. Constant focus, mental rehearsing and meditation, and goal setting. Now, what does that mean? That's what we're going to dive into here. Now, keep in mind, nearly 7 months left of my 3-year goal, I was nowhere near my goal. Nowhere. Every single road sign said I should have quit. Every single, if you talk to a quote unquote realistic person, I was crazy. There was no reason to believe that any of this would work. Yet I stayed the path, and I did not doubt I didn't doubt. You can't doubt. Yes, some fear will pop up, and yes, some doubt will start to creep up. We are human, but if you have to stay this course and you have to buy into this fact, you have to believe this in your soul more than anything. And quite frankly, yeah, 30 grand in debt, sure. But here's the deal. I was so busy being this millionaire and who I was going to act and be that the results didn't even matter. And we're going to get into this tonight. So here's what I did. I created the future in advance with this goal. With goals, we create the future if it is done properly. And that's what we're talking about. I created the future in advance. Now, I made my body, my mind, and my brain look as if the event had already happened. Body and mind, it honestly can't tell the difference. If you are reliving a past experience or creating a new one in the future, the brain and the body, if you do it properly, it can't tell the difference between if it's actually re-happening, if it's a past traumatic event, and you keep revisiting the event and you keep signaling the emotions and feeling those feelings with those events, and you stay, depressed and you stay stuck. The body and mind does not even know if it's physically re-happening again or if you're just thinking about it. It's extremely powerful. Your mind can't tell the difference. I made thought become more real than my circumstances. My friends and family, they said I was crazy. Everything was, it just wasn't, everything around me. The bank account certainly wasn't showing it. A lot of kids would come up to me and say, hey, did you make that first $1 million yet? It was everything outside of my inner world, aside from a close network of friends who I could, learn and grow with and read good books with and get on webinars like the one you're on now to grow and continue to get better, right? And not let those external circumstances get me off course. I biochemically, physiologically, and physically became a different person first. That's what I did, and I'm going to show you how to do that tonight. The event and the goal, and honestly, I do believe that it found me because I started being that person. Now, being that person who's going to achieve the goal, all the action, like you can't just sit and wish. I'm not a huge fan of The Secret because I don't believe that if you just sit in a chair and wish great things or wish for a five-figure monthly business or a 7-figure business, that's just going to drop out of the sky. I think that the absolute action, like you go find some people, you get rid, who have done the things that you want to do, you get around them, you immerse yourself with them, okay, and you go get results. With just moving forward, that's part of the being. When I say that, you don't just sit and meditate or visualize or mental rehearse. You've got to actually take action. So how'd I do it? So, and I'll just, guys, gals, we probably already lost some people because you thought I was going to give you some lead gen hack or some crazy Google Analytic thing or some Facebook trick that got me 3 leads times 1 or some crazy stuff because you want the tactics, the how. I get it. You want the strategies. Okay. Do not think that now, if we're talking about goal setting and mindset stuff, that you've heard this before. The law of familiarity, guys, that's not a good thing. Because what you think that you've heard it before. In fact, again, that tells me that you're not in it's the fact of the repetition and the conditioning and mastery of something like this that actually gets you the results that I'm talking about tonight. So please, if you thought you were getting a bigger bombshell tonight in the form of maybe some capture page or copywriting slick trick or some headline that's working like crazy, all of this precedes that. Because without this, you will never get to there. Most people want X and then they will fill Y. Okay, that's backwards. That's like that is honestly cause and effect versus cause and effect. That's not people. Most people will say like, okay, I want the money in the bank account to feel wealth, or I want the car or the house or the girlfriend to feel gratitude or to feel love. That's why they don't have it. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. You must feel that first. You must get in front of the event, signal it, and attract it, and be at that frequency, that vibrant first. That's how most people will never get it, because they will look at all the stuff that they don't have, or the leads they're not getting, or the prospects that are saying no, versus being in front of it and being the person who is literally in front of the event and signaling it and creating the future. Right? And if something adverse happens, you're prepared for it because you're already being that person. What would he or she do in that specific situation if someone on the phone says you're in a pyramid scheme? Laugh it off. Who gives it, let it go. You must get your body and brain ahead of the event. You must become that person now. And that, honestly, it can be challenging. It really can, because, we are creatures of habit, and we are human beings. And if we look around and the results on the external, the circumstances we have around us, they're not matching the person that we're being yet, it's very easy to get derailed and go back to your job and say this business, this industry, this profession, this whatever doesn't work. That's why most people will throw in the towel, because they physically, they maybe will get on fire for 30, 60 days, see the comp plan, look and see that it does require real work and that they will have to change, and they'll bet their parents, their friends, their family, their coworkers bring them down and knock them down a peg to the fact that they'll just give up. That won't happen if you start being that person now. Let's play a game. Before we talk about how the secrets and stuff that I personally did to unlock this unlimited potential in my life, as I physically just showed you, like the difference from I had no idea how that was going to happen, scared shitless, and forgive me if I say some words that may may offend you. I get pretty heated about everything and passionate about some stuff, and I really want the best for our members, especially who are part of this community. And forgive me if I say something. I would try to keep any type of curse words to a minimum here this evening. But here's the deal. Grab a pen and paper for me, okay? I want you to do something for me. Pen and paper for me real quick. Or if you're on a laptop, it can pull up a Word doc. We're going to just write a quick goal. Quick goal. It doesn't need to be a paragraph like the one you see up in the top left. And I honestly, that's a great goal, but it's not even, again, I would be much more about serving and giving these days than the one that's up in the top left. So here's what I want you to do. And we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I physically want you to write something, because you're going to see this is not difficult. In fact, you're creating your life. And I want you to do part of it tonight. Write down a 90-day goal, whatever that means to you. Now, if you've ever read any book on goal setting, you know that most, and I've heard this said a million different ways and from a million different mentors, that most of us will they will overestimate on their short-term goal, and they will underestimate their long-term goal. Meaning that if you haven't made any money in this business, in the profession before, but you have a 90-day goal to make 6 figures, now, I'm never going to tell you to dream small. That's not what I did. I got extremely uncomfortable. Never, $2,000 a month to 7 figures in 3 years. What the hell? Like, I don't even know. Like, had I not stretched and been that person for that long ahead of the event, I don't believe I'd be here right now. So I'd never tell you to calm it down a notch. But, and I hate saying the word realistic, but on the shorter end of the goals, I like the little tinier goals that actually add up to the huge ones. I didn't show you my 30 or 60-day goals throughout that entire 3-year span just in light of time. Okay, there are much more manageable 90-day goals that you can celebrate and gain momentum on to go towards the big goals, to let the universe, or whatever you want to call it, figure its way out as you get better and better daily, so that you can, out of nowhere, come up with, for example, that 7-figure business that you wrote 3 years ago in the last 7 months of that goal. So, and just what I like to do is by X date, and then of course write it in the current. Like I am, X $5,000 a month earner, or by, January, February, March, April 6th, 2016, I'm a $5,000 a month earner, or a $10,000 a month earner, or whatever that means to you. Or it doesn't mean about money. It's just an example. Maybe it's about Legion, or maybe it's about spending time with your kids, or maybe it's about how much you can give to your faith, or to give back in any which way, the charity, or, maybe it's about losing weight, or maybe it's about helping other people. Whatever that looks like to you, just a line or two. Write it down, and I would prefer you not type it. I found that in my experience, you become a lot more connected to it. And with what I'm going to teach you in a second, you're going to want this written out anyway. So write it down. That's it. By X date. If you want to go ahead and do a 1-year goal, be my guest. This is just one goal, one example, and I want you to start doing this. Not just listening and thinking, oh, that's cool, he's got a cool story and what, it worked for him. It can work for you. I'm not special. I'm not. I worked my tail off. I did the work every single day. That's the person. If you want wealthy, you've got to be wealthy. You want to build a 7-figure business, you've got to be that person. Okay? And that takes work, especially if you don't come from that. Cool. That's it. What do I want? What do you want? I'll give you a minute and I'll shut up. Cool. Now step 2. You can draw a line or put it right under it. Why do you want it? This is the fuel. This is we'll talk a little bit in a second about like tangible goals and thing goals, and things are great. I've got a lot of cool stuff, but really, why do you want it? Why? And this is the exact goal setting. Like, this is what I do. And notice that most of that is going to be, if you get to the root of why, it's all about a feeling. Why do you want it? Just a line or two, just a couple sentences. Step number 3, very important. Who must you become in order to reach this goal? Just a couple lines. How would they act? How would they talk? How would they walk? How would they treat others? How would they think? How would they be? Maybe patient. Maybe grateful. Because they've already got, remember, when we do this in a second, you're putting yourself ahead of the event. So by default, you would be, if it's something you truly want, you're coming from a place of your body and mind already looks as if the event has already happened. So you 100% should feel gratitude and wholeness from completing or achieving that goal, because you've already, in your mind's eye, physically, biochemistry, the chemicals in your body and your brain. And there's some really cool science out there. And maybe we'll get to it a little bit later. Not right now. I don't want to interrupt what you guys are doing now. But who must you become in order to reach this goal? Determined? Maybe when you look in the back office and you see a whole bunch of stuff, or you've got to learn a new skill set. Lastly, how could you get it? And here's the deal with this. I don't want you to get too hung up on this, because I am, if you know me personally, I am like very pragmatic. Give me the goods, tell me exactly what I need to do, and I'll go do it. Like, I am not a hypey, fluffy, woo-woo, type of guy at all. But here's the deal. If I had to know every single detail about my goal up there in the top left, I would have never written the goal. I couldn't even get my mind, if I were to try and break that down, that 3.5 year goal or so, 3 years, I had no idea where that was going to come from. I'm going to tell you that I may be different from any other people that you may listen to in terms of goal setting. I'm not sure what others are training on in terms of like books out there and stuff. But for me, I can just tell you what I've done. Dream big. Now, that doesn't, in the same breath, I'm not going to, again, just in the example for the 90-day goal, I wouldn't tell you to have a goal of $100,000 in 90 days if you're just getting started and haven't made any money online before. Okay? And looking back, I still don't know how the hell I created that, other than the process I'm showing you in a second. And the other thing with that is that if your conscious knew exactly how, you would have already done it. So like, to physically, yes, it helps to break down and mentally, map out a blueprint. That's what these little chunk down goals do to hit a big goal like a 7-figure business in 3 years. But look, man, your conscious has gotten you right where you are today. There is a much higher source. We use like 95% of our entire, everything is autonomically. It's automatic. Something, I don't care what you believe in. We have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts, conscious thoughts a day. I don't even want to begin to think how many billions of things our unconscious brain is doing for us. Which one do you think is more powerful? I'm not having to think about my lungs getting air. I'm not having to think about my heart getting oxygen. I'm not having to think about, and neither are you having to think about your eyelids closing so your eyes don't get dry and pop out of your head. Which do you believe? If 95% of who you are is unconscious, which do you think has more power to bring a goal like this? So I don't want you to get too stuck in how you could get it. We'll figure that out, and it will come to you as you go through this process. Have an idea. I didn't even know, Norbert. I didn't even know what attraction marketing was. I had an idea that maybe this was going to be the industry, the profession that I was going to make my mark and call home. But other than that, I didn't really have I did not know how to do it. I had no idea how it was going to happen. Okay, so to a degree, if it can be maybe even as generic as, hey, for me it was, I'm gonna do it here. I couldn't map. I have an idea. I think here's a way that I could do it. I'm not really sure. Definitely some things have to line up and help me along the way, and it did. Okay, so you guys all write that? Everyone good with that? Everyone done? You need more time? Is everyone physically putting pen to paper, physically writing tonight? This is not about talking. I want you to physically start doing this. Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Good, good. So now, you first off, pat yourself on the back. You wrote, I mean, you got something there. You got at least a goal. I know we're doing this fairly quickly in light of time, but if you were to follow this and go maybe after the webinar, go and create some 30, 60, 90-day goals, some 1, 3, and 5-year goals, man, that just those 4 questions right there will really help guide you in at least putting pen to paper and physically starting to do it. So here we go. The tactics and how-tos. But my recommendation would be to make this fun. It's a game. I mean, you're creating your destiny with this. Again, you're creating your future with these goals, and literally. And all I can do again is point to what I've done. Every single day. First off, you better have pretty damn big goals, right? If you just quinced at the idea of having to do this every single day, right? Get bigger whys, get bigger goals. This should fuel you. This should not be a chore. Knowing, yeah, it might be a pain in the ass to get up and do 10 minutes of meditation. For me personally, it's anywhere from 1 to 2 hours a day at this point, okay? But knowing that it's going to get you to what you just wrote down, you should be salivating to do this twice a day. For me, getting started, it was like 10 minutes a day of meditation. And what this is, you sit your tail down in a dark place and be quiet, and you just start flooding your brain and body with emotion. Feel when you achieve the goal. And the idea is when you do this daily, you start memorizing a new emotion. You start becoming different. You start being different. This is how you get results. People ask me all the time, Brian, why are you so happy? Why are you always so, you're just always ready, man. You're good. I never catch you on a down day. That's not because I was just born happy. I had a lot of freaking baggage, and I'm not perfect. I still work on stuff daily. Right? Who would I be if I'm not doing the thing as a leader? I'll tell you what I have done is consistently done this daily for years. And I have memorized the feelings, the emotions that are attached to big goals. Emotions like gratitude, like joy, like love. And I memorized that internal chemistry, the biochemistry of that emotion so that I can trigger it at any moment. That's when you become lethal, and that's when you become power. Power. And it's your very first part of your day. If you, listening to my voice, sleep with your phone next to you, and the first thing you do is check email or go to Facebook tonight, put your phone away. In fact, I recommend you put it in a different room from your bed. Bed is bed. Bed is rest. I don't even sleep that much, but when I do, it's sleep. It is rejuvenation. Body needs a break. Mind needs a break. If you are going to Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, stop. The first thing, and this is not, you're also training and conditioning your body to teach your mind that you are in control, and teaching your mind to teach your body that, hey, the day is yours. You're not in reaction mode. If you quickly get up and start firing off emails and stuff, your whole day probably is go in a sense where you're actually just being in reaction. That's not a place of creation. That's not a good state to be in. Very first part of your day. In fact, the first couple of thoughts, especially as you start doing this, you're probably going to say, no, I'm not going to get that, 5-figure a month income, or no, dude, you haven't made any money. Who are you? We're not going to do this. Let's start tomorrow. Those first thoughts, as you start doing this, will probably creep up right when you wake up. And guess what? You, as the conscious observer, need to just say, hey, that's the old me. That's funny. And just let them pass. Because there will become a time when you wake up and this is what's flooding your body and your brain. Not the thoughts of, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy enough, or I'm never going to get there. I'm comparing myself to, guys like Harbert and Egan and Higdon and Hawkman and the Rachels and all of our top guys. And you are stuck there. No, those first thoughts, for me, it's the first 60 to 90 minutes, 60 to 2 hours, 60 minutes to 2 hours of that first day are mine. And again, that's creating the reality. Someone else. Done properly, Here's the secret. You will get out of your chair a different person. You will make new neural connections, new neural synapses, okay, with these chemical thoughts and emotions that go in from your brain down into your body. You will get a new physiology, a new biochemistry, and you as a whole will have a new frequency about you, and you will start attracting different things. And that may have thrown some people a curveball or made some people feel a little weird. I'm just telling you what I did. It's repetition, it's conditioning, it's becoming the person now. That's what these goals are all about. The feelings now. Put an anchor in your pocket. Okay, as I showed you this little card that I just showed you, the very first goal, I physically have it. Heck, guys, that check, which is like shattered now, was on me all the time. All the time. And it doesn't need to be a written out paragraph like this. It can literally be a symbol, something that you know that maybe it's just a cross around your neck, or something that you put in your pocket, or something that you put on your keychain, and where when you see it, you remember who you're supposed to be. Because that's your real you. That's the one you want to become. You've just been you've just been hypnotized into thinking we're less than, or all the bullshit that happened in the past, that's who we are, or the crazy depression emotions, or the sadness, like that's who we are. No, it's just what we've been learned as a species, or the experiences and the environment we've grown up in. That's not us. And we've got to get our tails, pick out the weeds, and start becoming the person that you are. And it's going to take work. And these little anchors are going to start triggering and firing these goals, these feelings of you having achieved the goal, of being that person now, of who it's going to take to be that. Sticky notes. I've got, 20 or 30 sticky notes just from the very first period of my life right on my desk right now. I pulled them out for tonight if you guys want to see them. My friends thought I was crazy. For every $1,000 sale I'd make, I'd post it on my ceiling or on my wall. I literally had tons of them all over the place as I started finding my groove. That was like the initial price for the MLM company. I started getting some momentum in before I found right after I found attraction marketing. I put stuff in my car, put all over my mirrors, in my office, everywhere, and not some bullshit affirmation. Affirmations, guys, are worthless unless, hear me out, unless you feel. I can say I'm happy, or I can say I'm wealthy, or I can say I'm powerful over and over and over a million times. But if I physically do not sit there and believe that, that's what this whole thing's about, to sit and feel it. Flood the brain and the body with the emotions to make your brain look as if the event has already happened. Now, actually, I'm gonna with that, someone who I'm very much into right now along these lines, a guy named Joe Dispenza, who there's so many studies out there just for people who are maybe questioning the idea, can you physically make your brain look as if the event had happened? Now, this is pretty damn cool. They took a study, I'm not even sure where it was, and here's the gist of it. Is they took a bunch of piano players, and for 5 days or 10 days, they had them rehearse, I think it was 2 hours a day, the same scales over and over and over again. They came in, and the group of people, physically, they're piano players, they played just over and over and over again the same exact scales, over and over again, conditioning. Okay, and when they took a brain scan of all of those people, right around the same area in the brain, you could see new neurons, new synapses, meaning they're learning new things in the exact same area of the brain because they were physically doing the thing. They were playing. They were playing and conditioning this specific set of keys, the scales, and then they took another group of people, same piano players, the same exact amount of time for 5 or 10 days, a couple hours a day. They didn't physically put any fingers to the keys. They just had them mentally rehearse the scales over and over and over again, conditioning. They physically touched zero piano. What was interesting is at the end of that study, they took brain scans from that group of people, and the exact same things showed, like where the new neurons, new synapses, where they were learning, lit up their brain, the exact same area as in the people who physically did the thing just from thought alone. Physically making their brain look as if the event had physically happened. And there's all, you may think, okay, well, that's cool. You can make your brain look, but how do you make your body look? They did another study. This guy, Dispenza, actually shows another study of people. They put a load-bearing thing, put a spring in front, like with your middle or your index finger, right? And after, I think it was like a good handful of weeks, they come in for about, I think it was like 20 or 30 minutes a day. They had a group of people come in and physically, because of the load, because of the resistance, they would press into the spring. And after the course of a couple of weeks, they grew, they grew stronger. They measured some type of growth in the tendons and the muscle or something along those lines. And then they physically came in and had people do the exact same thing, but mentally rehearse that process with their body, or excuse me, with their brain to see if it had any effect on their body. Guess what? About 80 to 90% of that muscle growth was seen in group B, who physically touched nothing. Physically touched nothing. They were just mentally rehearsing and doing it in their mind over and over and over again, so much so that their body was starting to look as if they had physically done the thing. They were putting their body ahead of the event. How cool is that? I'm getting way off topic. And it's not just, guys, that was something I had come across recently. There's a million studies like that, and placebo effects, and people curing themselves because they think that they're getting a real pill when they're not, but they're doing it because they're mentally focused on that, and they're putting themselves, because they think that it's the pill that's, healing them. Go figure, was actually a sugar pill, but because they started believing that that pill or that cure could help them cure whatever they've got, go figure, just melts away. Interesting. When you are not consciously engaged with someone or something, you should be 100% always constantly thinking and focusing on the goal and the feelings you would feel when you accomplish it. That's it. This was, guys, if you're not like present with kids or family or reading a book or building the business, if you're like driving, you're not listening to some type of growth material, man, every second of every day, make this a game. This is your life. This is your destiny, man. You should be focusing on that and getting better and better, building momentum, getting the flow, being that person, making your body and your mind start looking as if the event had already happened. Who would that be? What would that person be like today? I did that like a madman. Like a madman. Every second, find the pockets. If you still mow your lawn while you're doing the lawn for an hour or two, if you take a run, if you work out, man, how powerful could that be if you started flooding that in addition to your mental rehearsal, but you just got addicted to those new emotions and that new goal? Holy shit. What could happen then? Why most people fail? Most people don't do it consistently. They won't, things get in the way. That life, they say they don't have time. Get up earlier. Get bigger goals. Most people don't truly believe they can get it. They won't do it consistently. They don't believe. Most people will let their circumstances, their past, and their BS stories crush them before they even get started. Like they're not enough. Or you're too stupid. You're too dumb. You're not techie enough. You're overwhelmed. Which, by the way, that story is keeping you broke. The only reason you're overwhelmed or frustrated is because you keep telling yourself you're overwhelmed and frustrated. That's the only reason. Step into a new reality. Create a new you. Yeah, there's new stuff to learn, but take a deep breath. There's bite-sized chunks everywhere inside of MLSP. There's amazing training. There's one-on-one support. You can ask questions in the group and get answers in seconds. The reason you are staying stuck and broke and frustrated is because that is the unconscious. You're not probably even conscious of it. Maybe you're starting. You will now become aware of the bullshit programming that is keeping you stuck. Most people's bodies, they're chemically addicted to overwhelm or unworthy or guilt or sadness or frustrated because we run these programs constantly. And guys, it really isn't our fault. At the root of it, like when back in the day, 2 million years ago, caveman, it was like all our brain wants us to do is survive. It was looking for threats. It was looking for the wildebeest around the corner who's going to eat us. Right? And it's conditioned. That's what we come from. like the odds really aren't in our favor from that standpoint. But guess what? We as human beings have a very conscious mind and we can set intentions. It's pretty cool. So how do you change right now to hit your goals in 2016? Are you guys getting some value from this? Let me check in. Whenever it's just me, I want to make sure y'all are getting some stuff. Cool. All right. Boom. Very cool. Awesome, guys. Very cool. All right, let's go. Why most people fail? We did this. How to change. Here's how to change. You guys want the secret? 2016, be greater than the past and any type of present circumstances. Catch the thoughts, the behaviors, the people that trigger these emotions as they happen and stop them. Becoming conscious is really the first step. It is the first step. Write them down. If there are specific people or specific thoughts or something specific people say that trigger emotions that keep you stuck, or what I would say survival emotions, which is all the bad stuff, right? The hate, the anger, the jealousy, all that stuff. Write that down. Let's get conscious of them. Not right now. Just take a note and do it after the webinar. But you do want to become conscious of them. Ask yourself, what is it costing you to keep feeling this way? Get some pain, man. It's not a fun process, but it is, because the end goal is your destiny, really. Write them down. What is it costing you? Your family, your kids, your happiness, your health, your freedom? Fuck. Nothing is worth it. Know that you are not your beliefs, your thoughts, your values, or even your body. You are nothing. You are none of that. Your beliefs that you have now are probably drastically different than 5 years ago. Your body changes, some cells like daily, some cells monthly. In 2 years, you have an entirely different body. Your values, literally, what was like your biggest value 5-6 years ago? Probably different than it is today. I'm not going to get into a heated or a debate or even, what are we at our core? I have some theories, but the idea here is, guys, when you get bullshit stuff popping up, learn to simply be the observer. These thoughts were thoughts that people had millions of years ago. They're not your thoughts. They were handed down to you. And you can change in an instant, in a moment. And if you can learn to simply become the observer and wave these unloving thoughts by, consistent daily focus, mental rehearsal, and feeling the feelings of having achieved the goal now. You be that person now. Now, that's it. That's what I did. Take If you're pointing the finger at someone, stop. It's keeping you stuck. There's no power there, because what happens there, if you're pointing the finger at someone and blaming them, then if and when you do have results, you got to point to them for the responsibility or the credit of those results. There's no power in blaming someone else, because you can't change that. You can't control other people. What you can control is how you react and where you're headed and the emotions and feelings and goals that you're heading towards. If you're blaming someone else for anything, you can either, if you want, you can either make money or stay broke, right? Whether it was a crazy traumatic experience in the past, my heart goes out to you. If you're still blaming, there's a lot of anger and emotion pinned up in that idea, in that memory, man. It is keeping you stuck. It is keeping these horrible emotions, unloving emotions flooding your body. And that's the reason why you can't go forward. You've got to take responsibility for where you are right now. And if you feel stuck, it's your unconscious programs running the show. And honestly, the only thing you have to do is recondition them, right? Your automatic programming, what you immediately, habitually go towards, what you're addicted to. What if you were addicted to things like gratitude, love, passion, right? How do you do that? My biggest thing is literally goal setting and meditation. Meditation, man, getting in front of the event. If you miss the goal, who gives, you know what? I didn't have $1 million. I couldn't go cash that check that day. Okay. Would you say that this thing still works? 7-figure business from 30 grand in debt. Now in that goal up at the top, I think I said, yeah, I can cash this check to myself. I couldn't physically do that. Trust me, this works. Always must keep the goal, feelings, emotions at the forefront. Always, always, always. Make it a game, man. This is, again, your life. To become wealthy, you must be wealthy. And here's the rub. The moment you question your creation, like literally the moment you doubt that you're on the path, or can you really make this MLM work, or can you really build the business or get the leads, or will people really buy into my greatness, or can I ever earn the money, or can I ever be worthy for it? The moment you start questioning your creation, first off, the moment you sit down and meditate and you start tapping into your unconscious and letting it go to work for you, guys, that's when the magic happens, when you start believing in it and being it. That's also why I love The Matrix so much, man. If you haven't seen it, that whole story is about this dude stepping into slowly believing, slowly buying into the fact that he's the one. You are the one. That is my favorite movie, like literally of all time, because it is such an amazing parable to what we have here. It will blow your mind. And the moment you question your creation or your goal, or you sit down and you get up and you start doubting, your unconscious, it's a dangerous thing. It's going to say, oh, hey, okay, man. Hey, Brian, it seems like you know better than me, so you go do your thing. And the moment that happens, you're screwed. You have to buy into it, man, 100%. You have to be the person. There is no going back. You've got to burn the bridges, burn the boats, and be and step into it. There is no playing the other card. If you want real results, you have to be. And a wealthy person does not think lack. A wealthy person does not think about all the money they don't have. And knowing now that you have to be in front of the event for the event to happen, wouldn't you agree that you better start thinking that wealthy person that you want to speak and be into existence now before the event, knowing that's the only way to actually get it? And if you get it any other way, it's a flip, it's a switch. You got lucky. You got lucky and it won't stay. That's just how it works. Knowing what we've covered tonight, you have to be it right now. You got to get uncomfortable, stretch, and you got to stay there. And you do not need to know all of the how right now, especially on the 3-5 year goals. They make them, you should be like shaking when you write those goals, like I did back in 2006. Are you kidding me? They should make you so uncomfortable, and you got to learn to love it. You got to learn to love it. And it's an awesome feeling. Something magical happens when you write it down with goals. It really does. You become the creator. They are so big. They are so big. Once you're being the new person, it all starts to divinely fall into place. And all I can do is tell you that, and tell you that amazing things start lining up when you start being and you stop doubting. And when I say being, you start believing, man. You don't need to start dodging bullets. You don't have to. You can literally just lift up your hand, the bullets drop. You won't have to when you buy into you. By the way, that new person will be taking the action, of course, like I said in the beginning. So I believe just a couple quick more tips. Let me see what time it is. Wow. 9:15. All right, great. I believe you wouldn't have had the thought if you couldn't achieve it. That's just my personal belief. I believe that if you won $1 million, if you want to build a crazy business, if you want to travel the world with your family, if you want a boat, if you want a private jet, if you want to give back, $1 million to charity this year, if you want to fill in the blank, if you have that thought, that desire, I believe that wouldn't have been given to you from a higher source, a higher power, God, whatever you want to call it. I've done my best to keep God out of the presentation. That's where my core is. But yet, whatever you believe, I believe that thought was given to you for a reason. And I think that you absolutely within your reach on this planet to do so. Want to love yourself more? If you guys want the real secret to happiness, write these goals down and actually go after them, and keeping your word and doing the thing, doing the daily thing and getting better and journaling about the experience and writing the stuff down and daily actively achieving it. Man, there's nothing more than keeping your word that will honor yourself and bring more self-love and momentum into your life than physically writing these things down, going after them, and honoring your word. You will start to notice the change. You can change literally. And guys, by the way, when you do, people may think you're on drugs. Honestly, a lot of people because you don't need to do drugs. You don't need to take prescription medication to feel joy anymore if you actually start doing this. It's pretty cool. And what's neat, even cooler, is that you can change not tomorrow, not tonight, but in this very moment right now. Right now, make a decision that you're going to take this process to heart. Maybe we rewatch this webinar. And here's the deal with this. Final thought. With goals, it's not the thing. It's not. All the wealthiest people I know, my wealthiest friends, not even in this space included, of course, though, it's not the thing. It's the person you must become. That's the thing. Because if you think the thing will make you happy, it may for a moment, but then it's not going to be enough and you're going to crave more. And what's even worse than that is you're always going to bring that not enough mentality and being to the next goal. And not only is it going to be harder to hit, if you hit it at all, you're not going to be happy doing it. You will always feel less than until you can find beauty in the moment now as you go after your goal. And that's the secret. That's what I took. One of the biggest takeaways I got from Date with Destiny at Tony Robbins' event is, I'm always this passion fire, go, 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 let's roll. Man, for me, my number one goal this year, and I don't in the very foreseeable future and for years to come, is to be in a beautiful state. That is like my number one goal across the board, to be and stay and hold a beautiful state, because from there, all stuff happens. I mean, all doors open. Really all you want is the feeling anyways. Why not feel it now? And for me, to stay in a beautiful state, man, I treat my friends better, my family better. I attract all sorts of opportunity. One of my beliefs, my current beliefs right now, is that making money is easy. And I had started adapting that belief right when I learned about this mindset stuff, right? Opportunity flows to me. Amazing people come into my life daily. These are beliefs that are ingrained in my soul. And I didn't believe them at first, trust me, but slowly, like Neo in the Matrix, if you start sticking around people who believe in you and want to bring you up and start doing the thing, man, you will soon never have to dodge bullets. And you will become the one, and you will be on fire. And I will probably put you on my stage soon. So, did you get any value so far from this? We're not done. Did you guys get any takeaways, any crazy stuff? Is this any light bulbs going off for you? Nice. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Right on, guys. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you for the kind words. This thing is packed still. Very cool. All right, let me okay, so here's what I like to do. I promised you guys Q&A. I do want to I told you I'd take 4 minutes or so to share this, and I'm going to do that real quickly. What if I could help you personally become a new person this year and achieve all your 2016 goals and more? And the fastest way to becoming a new you and achieving your dreams, honestly, that I have seen and raising the belief level in you, is being around people who have the results you want, who can lift you up. Total immersion. I mean, you want to switch, man, that conference calls, webinars, books, courses, all are great. You want the fastest way from A to Z, you find the leaders, and if you can get around them for a couple days, you will change more in that 3-day period than you could in 3 years doing it on your own. It's called Total Immersion. Private Mastermind Retreat coming up here in April. I'm just going to real quickly explain what this is. It's April 7th through the 10th. It's all inclusive. It's complete immersion. And honestly, this is what gets me excited, because I actually get to teach. And then, of course, I get to teach from time to time, and I have so much fun with our leaders. But this is where I get to roll up my sleeves. And, guys, we've built a $28 million company. I believe will be a $40 to $50 million company just with MLSP now. we currently have in our house here, there is, like, we know a few things when it comes to building a business online, and we don't really get to teach it so much. This is where we get to play. So the 7th, you come in, meet and greet. By the way, you can't run from us. We can't run from you. We're talking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Every single thing is with us. Friday, April the 8th is an all-day intense session. You, your offers, your business. It's one-on-one access. The goal is you. You're going to walk out a different person. You're also going to have a business, a real business, one that is profiting or will profit this year. 9th, Saturday, the same. Sunday, the 10th, morning intense session. Again, this is all about you. The afternoon is open time. You get one-on-one videos, build your stuff. It's total access to myself, our team. We fly out our top earners, our top affiliates, and some very special dear friends as well who we think we can add value and can help you build your business. It is a very unique experience that it is something that nobody's doing. Nobody. And it's fun. Who is this for? If you're brand new and haven't made a dime or generated a lead, absolutely. If you've already created a brand and are getting leads and are making a few $1,000s a month, if you get 30 plus leads a day and you're earning $5,000 a month and you want the next level, that's what man, if you're already making a couple grand a month, the investment here, guys, what we can do in terms of one-time offers and product creation and funnels and traffic and you getting your consciousness to a new level, man, there is a big jump we can do with you. If you get a bunch of leads and you're earning 5 figures a month and you never want to worry about money again, that's where we come in. That's where we come to play. That's where we shine. Who this is not for, if you want to cautiously move forward, take little to no risk, and figure it all out by yourself by expensive trial and error, I will tell you one of the greatest things I did in my entrepreneurial career is that I constantly take risk. And I don't mean like uncalculated risk, but I mean I am stretching, I am investing, we are growing, we are taking jumps, we are always building. There is risk, and it makes me feel alive, and it does. And to the degree my boy Tony Robbins says to your success, your happiness is a direct correlation to how much uncertainty you can physically handle. Uncertainty, risk. And for me, that is like one of my biggest needs. And I don't know why, I crave it. If I'm not growing, for me, if I'm not learning, growing, taking a risk, man, if I'm not journaling, I can feel it if I miss a day and I'm not journaling. If I miss a day where I don't get my full hour of meditation in, I feel it. Because I've so committed to this growth process of constant, never-ending learning, growth. So 3.5 days of immersion, meditation, and deep inner work. You guys really want to do what I just taught tonight? That's what we do there. And we're going to do it even more this time around. Finally get unstuck and stay that way the rest of your life and really create the life of your dreams. There are distinctions and meditation exercises and weird stuff we're going to do that will make you break. That will, and you will never be the same. We're going to help you develop a winning brand for your business through sites. Of course, with our new blogging platform, a whole new door opens up with what we can do and provide for you. We're going to define your target market and your customer avatar, and for your dream business in any niche. You do not have to have an MLM business at all. Any space we can build it. We'll help you do it. Find your target market, keywords,